Welcome to Fierce Feminine Leadership, the success podcast for women in business. Each week, we feature interviews and advice to help you step into your power and lead your way. Now here's your host, women's leadership expert, Eleanor Beaton.
Hello, welcome to Fierce Feminine Leadership, episode 11. This is Eleanor Beaton, and you are listening to the podcast for ambitious women in business who are ready to step into their power, use their voice, and change the world. And I am excited about today's episode because we're going to be talking about a dirty little secret of many working moms, and that is working mom guilt. And in today's episode, I'm going to share 5 tips to help you cope with the monster that is known as working mom guilt. Now listen, for those of us who have experienced working mom guilt, it's a killer. We feel that we're not doing enough, not being enough, not helping enough. Women who experience working mom guilt worry that their careers are having serious long-term negative consequences on their children's lives and also on the well-being of their families. Now, the irony, of course, is that it's often the guilt, not the career, that can actually make you feel miserable, resentful towards your career, and distracted from your family. So if you are one of the millions of sufferers worldwide of working mom guilt, if you sometimes feel as though you are the rope, your family and kids are on one side, your career is on the other side, and both edges are fraying, then this episode is for you. And here are some tips to help you deal with the soul-sucking condition known as working mom guilt. Tip number 1 is simply to know and understand that you are in good company. I have worked with very few high-powered women who are moms who have not also experienced the working mom guilt thing. So I find that in cases like this, it's helpful to understand that you are part of a community and to draw strength from that. You are not alone in your feelings of working mom guilt. Number 2, I want you to go for good enough. Here's the thing. There are tons of resources out there about how to be the best parent possible. There are books, there are articles, websites. I mean, every other day someone is blowing up my Facebook feed with an article about how to be a better mom, how to raise better, well-adjusted kids. Now, the intent is to be helpful, and absolutely these articles and resources can certainly be helpful in terms of helping us do one of the most important jobs of our lives, i.e. raising our children. But for a woman with working mom guilt, these quote-unquote resources often end up making you feel inadequate. Like, in addition to the 100 things you've got on your plate today, here's this other thing that you must do that's going to help you become an even more powerful mother. So my invitation to you is to release your intention and your need to be a perfect parent. I invite you to trust the resilience of your family and lower your mom standards from being perfect to being good enough. Number 3, I want you to expect working mom guilt to go for the jugular. So when working mom guilt sets in, look out because it really can get you at the knees. And our culture is filled with ridiculous stories about what it means to be a perfect mother. It means that you never miss a practice. You never skip one of your kids' games. You are the first to volunteer, and you always make nutritious home-cooked meals each night. You get the picture of what I am talking about. Even though you know on an intellectual level that these definitions of perfection are absolutely ridiculous, the truth is that your ego is probably still buying into them on some level because they are powerfully ingrained in our culture. They are so ingrained in our belief system, in fact, that of most working moms, that when we break one of those rules, it feels like a big, big deal. Hence the jugular. That's when the working mom guilt comes rushing in. So my recommendation is that you anticipate and prepare for working mom guilt. I'm going to be heading out on a business trip tomorrow. I can start to feel some of the working mom guilt setting in, but I anticipate it. And as I feel it, I'm like, oh, wow, there it is coming again. Interesting. I notice the feeling. I try not to invest in it. So the next time you feel your working mom guilt wash over you, I want you to notice the feeling and tell yourself this. Oh, I'm experiencing working mom guilt. My ego must be believing a story about what it means to be a perfect mom. How interesting. Listen, ladies, this process of noticing your thoughts, having the discipline to really be an observer of your thought, to notice them rather than invest in them, and thus coach yourself through them, can not only give you immediate relief, but it can really help you step into your power. This habit of noticing your thoughts will help you step into your power as a leader in all aspects of your life and can model what good personal leadership looks like to your family. Number 4, quality, not quantity. Now, distraction is the enemy of joy. When you're with your family, I invite you to set an intention to focus on your partner and your kids with love and devotion. Listen, we have all been there. There are times when I have a massive project going on, I'm helping a client with something, I have a deadline approaching, and it can be challenging to get away from the office and to really focus on being with my kids. But what I have noticed is that when I make that separation, usually by taking a break in between work and family time so I can really decompress from work and be present with my family, even if it's 5 minutes. When I take that time to decompress and give myself permission to set aside the challenge or the burden or the adrenaline of work and business and devote myself to my kids, they thrive. I thrive. We are all really happy in that time, even if it's just 30 minutes. And 30 minutes of focused one-on-one family time where you are focused and available is worth an afternoon of distracted care. And here's tip number 5. It's about giving yourself permission to let it go. It's one thing to notice working mom guilt and to sort of coach yourself through it. It's another thing to give yourself permission to take that heavy backpack that is working mom guilt, put it down on the trail and keep going and leave it behind you. And I want you to actually visualize yourself doing that, because the truth is that guilt is not actually very constructive or useful. It's just not a useful emotion, particularly when it borders on shame. As in, oh, I'm ashamed I should be a better mom. Here I am focusing so much on my career at the expense of my family. And very often when I'm working with women, the women who feel that the most are actually working really hard to be there for their kids. And if they could just allow themselves to have the presence of mind to and truly enjoy it, that's actually what they're looking for, that connection. So I invite you to set aside the working mom guilt, the monster that can plague us, and to really throw yourself into both your career and your family life. The world needs women who are examples of how to do both and how to do it their way. We need your definition of how you balance. If you would like to get more tips on how to step into your power as a bold woman leader and how to really get a handle on your working mom guilt, I invite you to come on over to my website, eleanorbeaton.com. There are loads of resources there that can really help you own your ambition, pursue your path with confidence, and do it in a way that feels authentic and good. Thanks so much for listening, ladies, and until next time, stay fierce.
Thank you for listening to Fierce Feminine Leadership. Be sure to head over to iTunes and subscribe to the show. While you're there, leave us a fierce review. When you leave a review, your name is automatically entered into a monthly draw. Each month, we'll draw one reviewer to automatically receive a private coaching session with women's leadership expert Eleanor Beaton. So remember, head over to iTunes and subscribe to the show. Then leave us a review for your chance to win a private coaching session with Eleanor Beaton. Go to eleanorbeatonpodcast.com and sign up to get your free cheat sheet, the 5 critical leadership skills of 7-figure businesswomen. This free download will help you diagnose the exact skills you need to see major growth in your business and career. Head over to eleanorbeatonpodcast.com and get your free download today.